What's up, guys? It's your boy Jay and Trevor back again with another NFL news story. Brandin Cooks may be losing $18 million in the 2023 season. Before we get started, guys, make sure you smash that like, that thumbs up. That is much appreciated. And, of course, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe. Click the bell to be notified of upcoming stories just like this. All right, so, yeah, as it stands, the trade line. Trade line is passed. Brandin Cooks was not involved, and he is aggravated. Looks like, as the story says, $18 million is going to be lost with Cooks missing a couple of practices, not playing in tonight's game as well. He will not be playing in tonight's game against the Eagles. He's unhappy at the fact of not being traded, and he could be losing money that was fully guaranteed because he did not go to practice yesterday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So now he is at, risk of losing $18 million next year.
Yeah, I don't know why the Texans can't stay out of the headlines. Like, it's always something with this organization.
Yeah, I mean, from Deshaun to,
all right.
Davis.
Well, like, Bill O'Brien trying to tank the team, trades DeAndre Hopkins for a couple draft picks and David Johnson. JJ tries his best to get out of there, gets Bill O'Brien fired, right?
Yep.
Starts like a player revolt during a practice. Then you have Deshaun. Then you have Jack Easterby, who was like a chaplain in the Patriots, came down and almost had like general manager power for no reason.
Yep.
And now you have Brandin Cooks out here just trying to get the hell away from it all, and they're not going to let him. And nobody bought his hook, right?
So I have to wonder. Because obviously, when these contracts are set up and everything, the agent handles a lot of the legwork, right? And then the lawyer gets involved. I do wonder if Brandin Cooks knows that it was in his contract that it would be null and void if he committed a default, which it says in the contract that if he failed to practice with or play for the club for reasons other than a football-related injury or illness, that guaranteed money would be null and void next year. So it really makes me question, is he just that mad to where he either forgot about this or did he not know that this was in the contract? I think that's a question too, because if I knew that I had a contract for $18 million for next year, whether or not I want to be traded or I have an issue with, the trade process, I'm not going to jeopardize that money if I know somewhere in the contract it says that I need to practice and I need to play a game. And also, maybe this, organization that I have this contract with doesn't really want to give me this money, so I'm not going to give them a reason not to do it,
Well, and I think that's part of the problem, right? Was like the Texans were open to trading him. They sent out their little informants on the job, and they got a couple rumors were Vikings, Giants, and Rams, right?
Yeah.
And then the way Houston has set up this contract is pretty sneaky. It's those back end contracts where it's like, yes, this year you're playing for this much, excuse me, but you'll get your guaranteed money next year. Mm-hmm. So if they did trade him, whoever he went to would bite that $18 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like one of those.
I was going to say, it looks like, no other team basically wanted to do that.
Right.
Because
and looking at his stats so far this season, $18 million isn't worth it.
Yeah. I mean, $18 million. I mean, right now, 51 targets, tied for 26th. 32 receptions this year, tied for 34, 354 receiving yards, 41st, one receiving touchdown. I mean, that's not worth $18 million. That's not worth that kind of money. Could his production change? Of course. But, the league doesn't go by, what ifs. They look at what's going on. And if you're putting up the yards, if you're getting the touchdowns, if you're catching the ball, and you're putting up the numbers, then you get paid what you're worth, not for what perceived to be at this point in your career at 29 years old.
Well, and to his credit, he has been all reliable, right? Most of his seasons in the league, he's pulled over 1,000 yards and 75 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see, but that's still average, right? Those are the middle of the pack wide receivers. So I could see a team not wanting to, in the middle of the season, when you don't know what kind of injuries you're going to see, to not want to bite an $18 million bullet, which is pretty sneaky on Houston's part.
Yeah. Well,
for building the contract around like that.
Well, also too, he's getting to the point of where I think you're the end of your career. First 4 years since he was drafted, he played 58 games, had 280 receptions, 3,943 yards, 27 touchdowns. So the first 4 years in his career, he was very productive. He's getting a little older. These new guys are stepping up. He's not getting as much, attention from Davis Mills. So that's going to play a big factor.
I don't think anybody on the team is getting that much attention, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I think he's leading the team with these terrible stats Jay just read. He's still leading the team.
Yeah, he's still leading the team right now with 354 yards, 32 receptions on 53 targets, and he's leading the team with those stats, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So in a sense, I can understand why. I can understand why he would want to be traded. I can understand the frustration. Going on Twitter and saying things as far as, how he feels specifically, in quote, don't take a man's kindness for granted. Covered the lies for too long. Those days are done. Crossed the line with playing with my career. There's obviously some backroom drama there that we don't know about specifically. But we can
only speculate.
Yeah, we can
only speculate.
We can only speculate. There's obviously some stuff going there that we don't know about. Some things that he's aggravated about. And normally, when a player goes to social media, they feel a certain way for a specific reason, unbeknownst to the fans and the reporters and the commenters and all that kind of stuff. So, but the fact does remain, in his contract, by him not going to practice and him not playing, not having a football-related injury or illness, $18 million is at risk. And it's really unfortunate because I don't think there's any other team out there that's going to give him that money now.
No, it's really hard. Not right now.
Yeah.
And what team, if I was going to go 18 million for a 1-year contract, why would I go for Brandin Cooks?
Yeah.
Right? If there's somebody better on the market, why wouldn't I pay them 24 million? What's 6 million in your cap space? If you're taking 18, you might as well throw in an extra 3, get a wide receiver who has not just potential, but the actual film to be paid 21 million, and then you just dodged a bullet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when we're talking trade, we're talking cap space, we're talking, different varied levels of money, worth, stats, all that comes into play. At 29 years old, at what he's been doing, now granted, it's the Texans' fault, Davis Mills, fault, right, in a sense of why he may not be getting the yards that he can in the production. So that is in itself is going to lower your trade value inadvertently, right? No matter how good you are, if you don't have the production, somebody really has to believe in you at that point to say let's give you 18 million, and there, like you said, there's other options out there. There's younger players who can last a lot longer for that money, and you'll be in a better position to negotiate with as well. So it's really unfortunate. We'll obviously see how this plays out. Brandin Cooks will not be playing tonight against the Eagles. And, guys. So, with that said...
personal reasons.
Yeah.
For personal reasons.
He's not playing tonight for personal reasons. With that said, we got a few more days until we're back streaming on YT, on YouTube. So, we will be doing Google Meet tonight. If you guys want to, drop back in. I'll be making that video a little bit later. But yeah, that's it, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. Smash that like, that thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. See you in the next one.
Yep. See you, fam.